in this section, in this lesson, I'm going to give some two little, topics that which I'm going to, perhaps for you here, and I hope that you can get, some information from the topics that which I'm, going through. So these two topics are going to be some really, it's going to be important for us, to know them. So that I'm going to, hereby I'm saying this, two topics for my students who wants to understand or who wants to learn about the trees in our lives and the nuclear power, and how these two things can affect our lives and how these things are important for us. So first of all, I want to give you some information about trees in our life. And before that, just think of these two simple questions that which I'm giving you. What areas of Sudan have forests? Just I want you to answer the questions in the comment section. In this comment section below, I want you to put your answers there. And what do you use trees for? These simple questions, I want the answer of them in the description or in the comment section below. Just answer the questions of what areas of Sudan have forests and what do we use trees for. These two simple questions, their answer should be in the comment section or in the comment section below. And what do we need to take care of trees, or why do we need to take care of trees? This question I'm going to answer for you. The world faces two major problems today: how to meet the needs of increasing population and how to improve the environment. Without a healthy, productive environment, we will not be able to feed the people of the world. Trees can help us to solve these problems. How? Today's great efforts are being made to raise people. Today's great effort which has been made to raise the people awareness of the importance of the trees and forests all over the world. Millions of trees are being planted, right? In Sudan, we have also, we need to make, an effort in order to save the trees and to make the environment of the Sudan, or to make the environment which can be a maximum of using them. So what do these figures tell us about? For example, we are, saving these trees, and the world of the populations is about 5 million or 5,000 millions is going to be expected to raise to 8,500 million, right, by the year of 2025. Most of this increase in the population will take place in the developing countries. In these countries, about 60% in increasing in agriculture production will be needed to make sure that there is enough food for everyone, right? And already is about 500 million people which is suffer from multiplications on 15% of the people die from this in 1 year. And the causes of the loss of forests is, if we use properly the forest resources, and can lead to the development of the world, or to the development of the land and the empowerment or improvement of the living standards for the people. Forest supply will use us or timber for buildings, firewoods, fruits and nuts, and gum arabic. This all these benefits we can take from the trees. And there are other source which is for of the cattle, and the source of certain substances for medicine sometimes. And the harvesting and the processing of the forest will creates employees, or it creates the unemployment, brings in income and hard currency. This money can be also spent to buy more and better food, right? Trees can be protect the environment by buildings, or by reducing and to making them soil rich, which is strong roots for the trees. We can build for shelters the leaves of the trees, of the soils, which you can bring from, the downway to the wind. We have to take care of forest and to grow the trees side by side to, to be better. These are, some tips or some, tips that which I'm giving you, and the points that which have been made here, with the information which I have made here. These are really important points that has been made. So I'm going also to raise a question for you, and that which is question is saying, do you think that the areas which the area where we live has a healthy or poor environment? Why? And should be why not? And do you have a forest near your town or village? If you have, so what is used for? If you don't have, that's the question should be no. And how could we improve our local environment? Where in the area do you think that should be trees should be planted, and why? And these are really important questions that we have to answer them. And I'm going to give you my point of view according to these questions, and I want you to answer in the comment section. So the question which is saying, do you think that where the place where we are living is a healthy and or a healthy environment or poor environment? I think this is good questions, and it is healthy because we are living, and there are many trees around us right now where the place where we are living. And these trees, can help us to, we are using them as a shelter, and we are using them as sometimes to, help us in furnitures, and we are making tables and many things that should be made from the trees. And trees are important, should be planted in the place where trees could be grown. And this is the section of the trees for life, and the information which I have mentioned here are really important points, and I hope that you can get the benefits of trees, and I hope that you can grow trees from the place where you are, and to protect them, and to make them grow bigger and bigger, because you need this tree for your life. So nuclear power, according to nuclear power, just let me give you a question before I'm going to give you information about it. The question which is saying that, what are the main types of fuel in Sudan for cars or buses can use? For example, we have the answer of this, we are using the benzene which we are using. And this is for trees, for many cars. This is for many cars. Sorry, as I'm saying, just trees. This is for many cars. The cars and buses, which they are using, sometimes they are using, the benzene, which is the fuel that we are using for our cars here. And how many miles car can travel on 1 gallon of fuel? And this depends. Those who are driving, those who are drivers, we can ask the drivers to answer this question. If anyone who from amongst you who are listening to this and driving a car can tell us, and can put the questions, or can put the answer of this question in the comment section. So let me give you some information about this. Can you imagine driving a car for several years without stopping once to get a petrol? And can you even also imagine after that driving a car for several years, and it will be still have enough fuel in the tank, and to go running for even several years? And there is no such a car today like this, but some day there may be one, I think. And do you know submarine, the ship, the biggest ship, which is in the sea, that which can go several years without stopping for fuel? It has traveled many the submarine sometimes is going under the water, sometimes on the water. When it goes on the water, and sometimes go inside the water, which is going under the water without stopping for fuel. The nucleus, which does not have the ordinary or oil burning energy in it, and it's will be by atomic, which is nuclear power. And one pound of the nuclear power fuel can do the millions of and pounds, which is coal or oil. And that's why the submarine can go for far places without stopping for fuel. Nuclear power, which is ships, will soon replace the many of the present ocean liners. And how is the nuclear power produced? That with the nuclear, and hear about the energy from the sun, and the sun's energy is stored in the coal, oil and gas. This is which is nuclear power also produced by using the great power of the fast energy which is following the water, which is to help the back and by the dam. This is called hydroelectronic power. Hydroelectronic power, which is nuclear energy, is produced from the storm and from is very very small part of every object. A great amount of energy is also used to keep the different parts from the atom together. When scientists, which is placed from the storm energy and set it free for can be used, your science, which is explained by the nuclear power. And also in a small, very nuclear energy has been used to the home. For example, we have an alarm clock, right? An alarm clock or watch, we can say, which has a small and numbers that which can be set, which can be seen in the dark, and using nuclear power and to light and send out the numbers. If you have the power, this is clock which you can see in the mosque sometimes, right? There is a big watch on the wall. You can see the time from this clock or from this from this alarm. And although there are many ways of using nuclear power, the nuclear power which we get from the storm will also from the storms will also use even more in the years of the coming years. There is a great future for all the mankind if you learn and use the nuclear power properly, right? If you use it properly, it will be a great development. Alternative power. Also, we have alternative energy. Alternative energy, the energy which is taken from the granted. Sometimes we only appreciate electricity when there is a power cut, right? We sometimes appreciate it, and we certainly cannot, see the makeup of the tea or watch television. Energy is much important for part of our life, right? And if you, for example, if the electricity has been cut for a few hours, you can't even be able to do something without the electricity, and it has become a part of our lives. We use it to travel to school and to travel to work, and sometimes we are using them in homes, businesses, or the things that which are happening in our daily lives. And when we walk, we turn the energy into storing in our bodies. And when we travel, also by cars, the engine, which is burned to petrol from a die for the energy. Almost everything we do requires energy. Even thinking. If you want to think, you also require an energy in order to think. So how many people in the rural areas, solve the power of the problems in the rural area? Many people, of course, lives in small villages and areas where there is no electricity, right or not? Gas or petrol, right or not? With the source of energy, standards of living can be quite low, right? But solutions to this problem can be found in nature, right? And the sun also, the wind, the sun and the wind, and the water and waste, products can be used as an energy, right? All these are These things are facts, and we are seeing them in our lives. Renewable energy also. Renewable energy, that which is, there are two main types of fuel, which is renewable and non-renewable. Renewable, that is non-renewable, for example, means there's only just certain amount of fuel, and if has finished, there's no alternative. There's nothing else. There's nothing you can do it. That is the amount of the fuel which is finished, and there will be no more fuel for people in order to use. This is a kind of non-renewable fuel, and comes from the coal, which is gas and oil, right? Some days coal, gas, and oil will run off. So, however, the sun shines, the winds blow, the rivers and the animals and the plants waste products and continually as a part of the Earth's natural cycle. If we can learn how to use these things and to protect them, and to produce them, to produce the energy, we can be sure for power and to supply them in the future. Many countries now consider renewable energy an important source of power, and this is the fact, by the way. This is really something amazing. And since the sun, wind, and the blow, and the animals with there are ways available, which is even in the rural areas. These sources can make a big difference in our life and the people living of these areas. And the electricity, how we can get electricity from the sun. If you want to get electricity from the sun, what you should do? This is a very powerful energy from the sun reaches the earth in the form of the light and the heat, right? And this heat can be collected in special cells and used to source of the power, which is called solar power. And energy from the sun also can made into electricity. Am I right or wrong? In many developing countries, solar power is provided for power of the humans hospital, right? And which is human hospital and health centers. Solar power, which is also can be provided by the pumping of the water, and to remove, the places where can be cleaned by the waters and supplies which is not available. Perhaps you yourself have solar power, which is calculator, right? And this is the nuclear power that which we have. Making use of these energies from the wind, not from the modern ideas. And many centuries that which windmill. Do you know windmill? Windmill, which have been used to take an energy from the windmill, which is taken an energy power, which is in the end to move. Windmill have been used to grind a grain and to pump water, and sometimes wind power is being used in several developing countries as an cheap way of providing energy to pump water and to get water for the animals and to the crops and to grow crops. This is a really big great ideas that which we can use it. And also in many developing countries, animals dug in and waste, not wasted, but can be used to provide cheap source for an energy. If an animal dung or plant which is waste in the store, it is an agricultural problems that which you can produce. The gas also collected to use for cooking and heating, water for lighting. These are the advantages that we can take from the nuclear power. And I think these information are enough and capable to be able to protect to get some power from the energy and the trees from our lives. This is also important. And thank you so much for listening, and I hope that the questions which has been asked here, their answer should be in the comment section. What are the main trees that you have in your area and what you are using them for. These are the last questions, and the answer of them should be in the comment section below. See you in another episode.